Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to Ace Designs 107. I'm the Ace in the car pack and you're the kings and queens. Today what I for you guys is a Photoshop tutorial showing you how to make a 2D Destiny banner. Now, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to make this intro really short. The difficulty for this tutorial will be 3 out of 5 stars and the duration will be 40 minutes. Now, this banner wasn't originally made by me, it was made by another guy on Twitter. However, he didn't credit himself in the preview of the picture. If he did, I'll leave a link to him in the description below. If you do know who made this banner, let me know so I can credit them in the video. Thank you so much. The template will be in the description for download, and all of the tutorial assets will be there. Also, make sure to hit that like button and also comment below letting me know what you thought of the video so I can personally thank you. So hopefully you're just as excited as I am for this tutorial, and what I'm going to do is quickly just make note of a couple things that I couldn't make note of in the introduction. So if you'd like to get straight into the tutorial, go at a time that will be on the screen now, but I really recommend that you guys stay for a little bit just to listen to what I have to say, because this will actually help you with the tutorial. So in the downloads below, you'll see a couple of links, and you'll see a tutorial assets link, and this tutorial asset link, I have done a couple things with it. So I've provided a concrete texture, a metal texture, a pattern texture for the clan logo that I'll be using, Synergy, and I've also provided a red version for the character, and this is the original version, the green version. This is a very high resolution photo. And I've also provided a PSD version, so you can edit the color to whatever you'd like by pressing Ctrl U and changing the hue saturation. But I'll also show you how I manipulated the photo to change the color. It really isn't that hard. So I've also provided you some clan links in the description below, clan logos, sorry, in the description below, so you can use whatever clan you would like for this tutorial. And if you would like to have your own icon pack, you can find mine at my Selfie store for $1. It helps me out make more designs for you guys, because I can afford like a better microphone or things like that. So make sure you go check out my store, and I have some sponsor logos, some clan logos, some social logos. These are like, I even have a Playboy and Trojan logo. Like, what can you ask for more, guys? I've got colored social links, icons I mean, and these really cool 2D icons. So make sure you go check out that pack for $1 at my store, and let's get straight into it. I've also provided this template for you guys just to start. So this is a preview and something like here. So if you really want to get better in Photoshop, the only way you can is to make designs yourself and practice. So you should use this template, not get my template at the final, and just learn. So yeah, it's really good. But I'll also be providing a finalized template for you guys just to change the text if you really like this effect. And obviously we're going to be making this into a Photoshop banner. So the first step for the tutorial is to go to File, Open, and we're going to change the color of the character to the color or theme we're going to be using. So I'm going to bring up the original picture here. Now there is two techniques that you can use for changing the color of the cape in that. And it's really not the difficult. I do prefer one technique over the other, but I'll show you both. So if you would like to skip this step, no worries, you can. I provide everything in the description, so it's all good. So to first of all change the color one way, you can press Ctrl Shift and make a new layer. And this is just going to be your final, I guess. And go back to your original layer. And I'm actually going to rename this color one. And this is the bit more lengthy step. But the reason why I do prefer this one over the other version is because of it is more accurate. So if we grab up a quick selection tool with a brush size of around 45, not too large, and just start to color, just try to select the parts of the cape and make sure that your original layer is selected. And you should be able to go around here and just do it, try to do it very accurately. Zoom in by pressing Ctrl plus a little couple of times, and then bam, we've got something like that. And if you press this take away little icon here, and you press here, you can actually take away some of the selection and put it back on track with the lines of the cape. So we've got something like this going on, and we're going to do the exact same for the neck piece, I guess. So we're going to go around here and start doing some selections, and this one's a bit more tricky, but it is okay. And use your take away tool to take off some stuff. Like here, we don't want the head, we want to take off this, and hopefully we can get some of this going on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Try to select this bit. I might end up like speeding up this, you never know. Just scrap that little area for now. And it's okay to get the blacks. That is perfectly fine, because when I'll show you when you color it in, it actually doesn't make a difference if you get the blacks. So here, this part, you can see that there are some little areas with the green. Also change the size of your brush, like 10, if you want to get like in smaller areas without selecting the whole place, and something like this. And I'll try not to swear in this tutorial, because I do acknowledge that I have younger viewers, so I don't want to respect them. And oh, you guys are like, well, who really cares? It's YouTube. Well, I want to make sure that my community on my channel is very censored. I don't like swearing myself either, so yeah. Only as comedic relief, I guess. Something like this. And that should be good to go. I'm just going to try and get this little area here. Now this area is sometimes a little bit of a pain, but if you use the takeaway tool correctly and if you get lucky, you should be able to get a pretty good accurate selection. And in the tutorial assets, like I've done this very accurately, you won't be able to see that I've changed the color. So it's all good. If we press Ctrl 0 now and go right back out, and this area is gone. Okay, sweet. And now we've got a selection. Now if we go to our color layer, press B for the brush tool, and change the size to whatever size. I'm just going to use 25 for now. Actually, I'll use 100 or 50, 150. It's okay, doesn't really matter. And just make the opacities 100% and the hardness 100%, and change the brush color to whatever size. So your foreground color is your brush color, if you didn't know, just for those newbies out there. And we're going to change the blending mode of this layer to color, and we're just going to color it in, and bam, we've just colored it in. And obviously it's going to stay within our selection. I used this technique before in my previous tutorial, and I'm going to be using it again. And if we press Ctrl D, bam, we've colored it in, and we've got some stuff like this. Now if we press Ctrl with the opacity, you can go in and out, but I think that is pretty good. And there's a little bit like here where it's a bit too strong. Now I'm not too sure what I could do, but we can try and fix it by going with the eraser tool. Put the size up to like 226, and also the hardness. And if we press like a couple of times, or maybe like on the edges, that should soften it up a bit. Something like this. And then yeah, now we've got that all colored in. And obviously you can press Ctrl U on this color layer and change the color settings to whatever one you want. But we're going to be using red for this tutorial, and I don't need to save this because I already have one. And the first thing that we're going to do now for the actual banner is make a backing. So grab up the template, and we're going to go to File, Open, and open up the, I think I used the metal texture first. So you're going to open up the metal texture and drag this onto the template. And all you have to do with this one is press Ctrl T, and we're going to rotate it to this side, and just going to size it down maybe, or size it up actually a couple of times like this. And if you press Ctrl J on this texture, right click, then flip vertically, and then flip horizontally, just to give it some variation so it doesn't look like it's the same stock. There, you wouldn't even tell. Okay, so now if we go to this one and do overlay or soft light or whatever ones, so those don't work. So if we could just go to normal actually, and change the opacity right down to like 27%. Look at that, that's actually really cool backing, and I'll be doing another tutorial on how to make your own backings in Photoshop for banners and Twitter headers. So I'm also going to grab up my concrete texture, and I'm going to bring this onto the document as I did before. Press Ctrl T, press Ctrl 0, and we're going to hold Shift while we size this one down. Press Ctrl Shift Enter, press Ctrl 0 to zoom back in, and we're going to just position it something like this. Press Ctrl J, flip vertically, horizontal I mean, and then probably move it up something like this. Okay, bam, you couldn't even tell vertically. And you can see this little line there. We don't like that, so we're going to get the eraser tool and just erase the edges on that, and then it looks like one. And we can change this one to, I think I did linear blur, and go to the opacity right down to like 23. And I don't like that little spot there, so I'm going to rub that out. And now we've got like a really cool texture. It's just something, so it does look better than white. White wouldn't suit this, but you can do white, so I'm just going to name this texture. And one thing that you will see is, like, if you're like a graphics designer and you have a really close eye, you'll be able to pick up all the little minute details. So you've got these little paint splatters here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab up my brush tool, and I'm going to be using a blood texture or paint splatter brush, and I've shown you how to load in brushes in my previous tutorial and how to get them. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can download a brush pack, and to bring in the brush pack all you have to do is go to the cogwheel and do load brushes and select the file and load them, and then bam, you've got them. Let's just say and then just pick a brush. For an example, this one should be good. And I'm just going to make a new layer above this, and I'm also going to jot down the size to around 60 or 100, actually 150. 170 should be fine, or even 200. And I'm just going to make sure my foreground is black, because as I said before, that is your brush color. And we're just going to click once, and I'm going to make a new layer, and we're going to change some of the settings on these brushes, but first get down all your splatters, and then you can change your settings down. Make sure you have quite a big variety in your brush sets, and make sure you're making a new layer every time when you do a new brush. And something like that. Okay, sweet. So now we're just going to merge all of these together. And you might say, well, why did you do it on a different layer? So I did it on a different layer. Oh, sorry. Just because of, if I didn't like one particular one and I had to change some of the settings, I could, and then I could merge them together just to be safe. So now I'm just going to name these brush, yeah, brush, whatever. And then go here and do overlay. And this is going to overlay to the texture. And then if we go to filter, blur, glushing blur, and change the radius to like 4.4, something like this, and then we've got something really sweet going on here. And if we press Ctrl J on this and move these about, like flip vertically, we've got some more, and if we press E, you can erase some of them out. And it's okay, because of what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding in all these colors, so it might look odd for now, but you can turn it on and off, that is okay. And now all we have to do is close these ones just to clean up our layout, and we're going to bring in our model. I'm just going to name this render so you guys know what I'm referring to. And I'm just going to press Ctrl T, hold Shift while I resize it down. And something like this. And you can take note that this is actually Twitter header. I said that before, but yeah, I think that banner tutorials are a bit more popular, so I'm going to be teaching you how to make it a banner. And I've had a bit more experience with banners. So I think something like this, the exact same way. So if you take notice, I'll just show you like some of the techniques that I like to look at coming up with the same size. So this guy, he didn't tap off the gun right at the corner of the document, so that's one thing to notice. And also here, there's that little black section there. He didn't tap it off to the white section, and I didn't tap that off either. So now we have something like this going on, and we've got something pretty cool. And I'm just gonna center it, I guess, something like here. Okay, and just because it's a banner, just mind that you will have your profile picture here. And yeah, okay, so now I'm going to teach you how to make these pattern textures, because before we make all these lines around this stuff, I need to teach you how to make those patterns, because I like to make all my stocks before I start actually designing everything. So I'm just also going to save this one under here. This is going to be Final PSD. Final PSD is the actual template to edit. So just make sure that you guys don't get confused. And we're going to go to File, New. And with the size of this document, I'm going to make it 1000, and the height's going to be also 1000. Press OK. And make a new background above this and delete your original one, and now you have a transparent document, so we can start making this PNG pattern. So now if we go to open and open up the clan logos and select a logo what you would like. So for an example, I'm going to be using Synergy just because of the preview did, and I'm also going to close these because I don't need these anymore. And we're just going to press Ctrl T and bring these down to a size. Now, obviously, it's a bit hard to see a white logo on this transparent document, so I'm going to make a new layer, and this is going to be my BG layer, and we're going to hide this when we're going to make the PNG. And I'm just going to make the color of this like a really dark gray. I hate using full black, if you guys know. I really do. I'm envious against like black. I'm not envious, I just dislike it, because envious is jealous. Okay, so now I'm going to resize this to a size that I like, something like this, and I'm just going to tap it off at the corner, so like this, and press Ctrl T and making sure that you're holding Shift, and then just press Ctrl J. Now guys, make sure, you can see that these little purple lines are coming up when I'm actually moving shit around. Now, sorry, I said the swear word, my bad. Okay, so this is because it's my version of Photoshop. I have the most recent version of Photoshop CC 2015. I really want to make this sure because I've had some couple of comments below in my past videos saying that, hey, how did you get those purple lines back? I really wish that they made this update a long time ago. It's awesome, I love to have it, but it's just a part of my version of Photoshop. So if you don't have them, that means that you need to get the most recent Photoshop to get them. So now if we just get the move tool and just move it slightly and just move it apart, something like that, maybe 4 arrows, press Ctrl J, and if you press Ctrl J on that new copy and then move it across again, and because of my Photoshop, it snaps it to the exact same distance of 0.03 as before. So that's a really neat trick. Now, if yours doesn't snap it, what you do is you press Ctrl J and you move it to the edge of that, and you memorize how many times you have to click your arrow keys. So let's just say I clicked it 4 times to get the distance. So I'd do it 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's not enough, so 1, 2, 3. And that seems about right, and then you'll do it again and again. And then once you get a full line, I'm going to show you a quick way. Tape off here. Because if it's a pattern, we want this to taper off. So if we bring our ruler tool onto our document by pressing Ctrl R and drag it across, and we're just going to zoom right in and make sure that this ruler will act as a guideline when we crop this picture. So if I move this right to the edge of this final logo, pixel by pixel, and then press Ctrl E, just C, and to bring up the crop tool and move this until it snaps to the ruler, press Ctrl Shift Enter, and then you've cropped that right off to the end. Now if we clear the guides, we press Ctrl E, Ctrl E, Ctrl E, we have one final line, press Ctrl J, and we do the same. So I'm just going to press the move tool and move it down 1, 2, 3 with the arrow keys. You might see something down here. It doesn't taper off at the end. So we're going to do the exact same like what we did before, and we're going to zoom right in. And we've got something like this. Press C on your keyboard for the crop tool and move that in and press it check, and view clear guides. Sweet. So now we've got our texture, and press Ctrl E to merge those and name this logo. And if you merge these all together, you have one layer. Hide your BG layer and just do this pattern. And you can just go to image, define as pattern if you want to keep this for like later on, but I'm just going to save this as a PNG. So you go to file, save as, and you go to the file type and you save it as a PNG, and then it will save it like that. Okay, so I've already provided it in the description below, so if you want to save some time you can do that, but now you know how to do it. Bring that pattern into the document, and now we are going to make some of these red lines. Okay, so now we're going to make the red boxes. So to do this, make a new layer below the render layer, and I'm going to make this red boxes. And you might see that I renamed some of the layers just because I've had to cut, and I came back and I might have thought that I'd clean up this document so you guys can understand. I'm going to drag down a ruler just around here, and I'm also going to drag down a ruler to here. I'm also going to drag one here. And you'll make sense of why I drag these rulers in the positions that they are. I'll explain that later. So you can see that the box starts here. So I'm going to start somewhere roughly around his wrist. So there, bam. The box ends around here. So I'm going to start roughly around here. And the next box starts around here. So that's like level with the goggles, which I did for that line, and this box I'll just eyeball it. Okay, so I'm going to press Ctrl 0 to zoom back right out, and I'm going to press M on my keyboard for the rectangular marquee tool, making sure that my boxes layer is selected, and I'm just going to drag out something like here is going to be good. Press G, fill this one in, and then I'm going to grab up my pen tool, start from here, shift click, and that's going to make that angle 45 degrees. It's going to keep everything the same. Right click and make selection. It's going to be an angular design, and I'm also going to press P for this next one. Use the pen tool, hold shift, shift out, always hold the shift button. Make selection, press OK, fill this one in. Okay, something like this. And I'm going to go to view clear guides, and now I've got my boxes, and we're going to start making little holes into these boxes later on, but I'm going to go here and press Ctrl J, and we're going to make these lines. Actually, I can make these lines myself, like easy. So first of all, I'm going to cut out some of these sections out of these boxes. So I'm going to press M on my keyboard, and I'll just bring down little rule guideline here so I know how thick that I want this one, something like that, and use this as a guideline. Make sure that red box is layer selected, cut that out, and also bring up my pen tool, and hold shift while I'm doing this, make selection, press OK. Whoa, that cutout is massive. That's what she said. Just like that. And we've got something like this going on. And the next thing that I'm also going to do is change like the blending options that I have with these pictures. So I'm going to clear these guides. Actually, I'm not too happy with that location of the cutout. Sorry guys, I just want to make sure that I get a good thumbnail with this because of more views. Okay, so something like this, make selection. Okay, so now if we go to view clear guides, we have made the red boxes, which I would say is one of the hardest parts with this tutorial, requires the most time. So now if we go to the blending options of this layer and turn on linear blur and do the fill 75%. Yes, I've already trialed it. I think this is the best. Can also do like 66%. And even 59%. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is bring in our pattern that we made. Press Ctrl T, rotate this one a little bit. You don't have to hold shift, just very slightly, something like this. And we're going to just hide this one temporarily and cut out some sections of this. So we're going to cut out this section from the layer, right click and do make selection, press OK, Control C, Control V, and make sure that this is now gone. And I'm just going to do the same setting, so linear blur 66. Okay, and I'm also going to bring in those patterns, which is already bring in. And what we do is right click, do create clipping mask, turn this one on, and it's going to create a clipping mask to that shape. And I'm just going to change the opacity of these right down to like 17, and I'm also going to change the size, so something relatively also just going to make this 180. This texture doesn't be long enough, so just make the 180, same rotation, press Ctrl J, move this across, something like that, make it align, press Ctrl E, press Ctrl E, merge, you son of a... Release clipping mask, press Ctrl E, right click, create clipping mask, and we've got something like this. Now you can see that there's a little bit of red here, like a bit too much red, which shouldn't be, so I'm just going to cut this out. I'll make the hole too big, just like my D. Okay, so I'm going to go like that one. Make selection, press OK, and delete that out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What are you doing? What are you doing to me? Cut that one out of that. Okay, sweet. So now we've got something pretty cool going on. And we can also drag these ones a little bit out. So a little bit in to close that gap. Okay. And I'm also going to do the same with some of the other things, some of the other aspects. So I'm going to go over it, leave everything on camera so you guys can get a feel for what I'm actually doing. So you can merge these both together now, and we have that. Merge those, but we'll just leave it as B. Actually, you know, I'm not going to merge anything. It will allow me to experiment later on. And I'm also going to cut out an area from this one, so... Make selection, press OK, press Ctrl X, press Ctrl V, place that one on, and now just grab up our pattern and press Ctrl T to resize this, something like that, bring down the size. Right click, and we need to find that one, so right click and do create clipping mask, and just do the like a opacity that you're comfortable with on this pattern. So I think something like this, but as you can see he made it fade at the end, so use the eraser tool and erase something out. Use a really large brush, like 1000 pixels or like 400 and hardness 0, and just click once, and that's how you can make pretty easy fades. It really isn't that difficult. And also change the fill to 66. This one, normal linear blur. Sweet. And I'm also going to add in a final texture on this one. So I'm just bringing another pattern, and this pattern is going to be resized to something like this. Move it like that. Synergy logo is actually quite nice. It's quite reputable. Okay, so right click and do create clipping mask again, and use your eraser tool and erase out the areas that you don't want. Press V and bring that one up. And also bring the size down for the smaller areas. And I'm also going to mess with the fill with this one. something like this. And now we've got something like this going on, but you might take notice that there's some white areas happening along with this one. So if we click on all the red boxes, bring up the brush tool, just pick up the circle size, the circle shape, and the size is going to be like 400 or something like that. And we're also going to make it white. And if you click just a couple of times around it, so something like here, something like here, there are some shapes like here and here. There are some shapes like bam, bam, bam. And I think that's going, I like that. I'm liking the feel of this one. And we have basically done that, but we have some outlines to do, such as along here and along there, and we've also got the major outline like that. So I'm going to do the major one quickly. So this one is below everything. So we're just going to group these actually together and press Ctrl G, and we're going to name this red box, I guess. And I'm going to do /patterns. And I'm going to make a new layer, and this is just going to be for my pen tool. I'm going to do like this. So I'm going to click once like here, and just go all the way to the arm. Right click on this one and do stroke path with brush, and that will stroke it, but it'll stroke it with the brush pattern that you have. So I want a size of 3 pixels, a hardness of 100%, and a color of red. And when you grab your pen tool and do stroke, brush, and I also don't want to apply pressure, so simulate pressure, so press OK, and then if you press delete to delete that path, you have a line there, and drop the opacity down to like 42%. Okay, so now we've made the lines, what we're going to do is press Ctrl J on the render, press V, and we're going to bring it over here. Something like this, like what we can see here. And we're just going to press Ctrl T and resize this one right up to make it look like fully fledged badass. Something like this will work. And if you press Ctrl U and bring down the saturation and also the lightness. Actually, bring the darkness right down to like -86, and then go to the opacity and do like an opacity of 12, and grab up your eraser tool with a very low hardness, and just do a size of 1000, and click a couple of times, and we've got that in there. I think that it's still too strong, so we're going to add it in like that, and then we have something like this. And we're also going to put in our text, so we're going to grab up any text. I'm going to be using Babass for this one. It's a really nice easy text, I guess, and I'm just going to click once, and the name of it is going to be Synergy, and I'm going to name it Synergy just because I want to stay very true to the design. I had a comment saying that it's okay that you didn't have the mountain picture for my most previous tutorial. He said that it's good for variation and your own uniqueness. So I guess he's kind of correct. Not kind of, he is correct. So Arial and Arial Black. Arial Black should be fine. Something like this. Okay, and I'm also going to turn on italics on this one, and press Ctrl T, do skew, hold shift while you skew it. I'm going to skew it like this one. Press Ctrl T, move this one a little bit like here. And we don't have the best fonts in the world, but we'll work with it. And I'm also going to do the VA spacing to like 10. And And I'm also gonna right click and merge rasterlize this type, press B for my brush tool. Oh, I'm not gonna rasterize it, but you should, because of you can add on some lighting textures, lighting effects with it, but I guess you don't want that to happen, so I'm going to also so now we've got something like this, and if we shift click all these, turn down the opacity on these a little bit, and make a new layer above this one, bring up your brush tool, bump up the size to like 150. You can, and just click once or twice, but make sure the hardness is right down. And click like here with the eraser tool, and I'm also going to click here a couple of times with the eraser tool. And I'm also going to change that, okay, and with the brush, I'm going to add in some lighting. So here, this really needs some work above the renders, so like here, so I'm going to just like shift click here and paint in where I think it does need some work. So just like he did. And I think that's looking pretty accurate. I think he did one more thing. So what he did is he's gone and like he's done like a really slight haze over the textures. So if you just make a new layer above that, grab up your rectangular marquee tool, just make it one big section, paint that in, and do the opacity right down to like 16, just to really get that whiteness, or 16 or 18, something like that. And we're also going to do these lines around that gun. I still know that those have to be done, but I'm also going to make these little borders around here by pressing Ctrl Shift N. It's above the red boxes but below the render, so something like that. And fill this one in with red. And bring down the fill, and also put this on linear burn. And you can Control J this one. Something like that. And raise that area like this. And then we've got something going on like this. I think that I overdid some of the lighting on this one, so I'm just going to bring down the opacity on this one. Like that. And we've got something going on like this. Now there's one more thing to do. Finally, we've nearly made it, guys. We're going to go ahead and go over this. So we're going to just quickly use our pen tool. And I'm going to be doing like a lot of little straight lines, just like that. And if we go to our brush settings, we're going to make the size 3, but the hardness 100%. Go to back to our pen tool, do stroke path, press OK, and if it's not nice enough, if it's not big enough, the stroke, you can change it to 10% and go back here and do stroke path, press OK. It's too big, so let's try 6. Strike it through the middle. Whoa. Stroke path, press OK. Okay, something like this. Now if we press Control T. Whoa, 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 whoa. Make this on a new layer, make sure that you're doing that. This is still too big, so let's do 4. stroke path, press OK. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to go and just change down the fill to like 44%. Press E for your brush tool and press here so it's kind of like fading. Bigger brush makes it more fade, so sort of like that. And I'm going to do the same on the gun. So we're just going to add in a quick signature without designer name or whatever you'd like to do. So just fill this one in black, and mine is Ace Design. Sorry, I just had a mind blank there. I was just like, what is my YouTube name? I'm going to be using Typography Pro. Link will be in the description below. And I think that is done, guys. Maybe use something like this. I don't want italic, semi-bold. Okay, great. And now we have done like a little signature. And bam, we have made the final effect. Now, if you did like this tutorial, it was great. I'm going to be exposing these gods on Twitter, so make sure you hit that like button for more tutorials. Just a small little hint on what is to come. I've been saving like cool things that I see on Twitter, so this is one picture that I will do a tutorial on. I've just done a tutorial on this one. We'll be doing a tutorial on this one. We'll be doing a tutorial on this one. We'll be doing a tutorial on how to model this, which is absolutely crazy. Be doing a tutorial on how to make this Deadpool banner. We'll be doing a tutorial on how to make this effect. We'll be doing this Twitter, and I've got plenty more shit to come. So I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button if you did, and also comment and share the video. That'll be great, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.